the party. So some introduction words from my side. Just I really feel honored to announce that we celebrate today the 10th anniversary of Simulation Exploration Experience. For those who are still not aware what SISO is, let me give a brief introduction. I know that much of you already knows it, but for the persons that are attending through YouTube channel, definitely they do not know it. So Simulation Exploration Experience joins students, industry, professional association and faculty together for an annual modeling and simulation challenge. SISO champions collaborative college level modeling and simulation by providing a venue for students to work in a highly dispersed inter-university team to design, develop, test, and execute the simulated Lunar and Mars missions. All the participants here, especially university teams, they gain valuable knowledge, skills, and increase their employability for working closely with industry professionals, NASA, and faculty advisors. So, it really has been a long run since 3 university teams supported by experts from NASA Johnson Space Center conducted the first simulation exploration experience, formerly known as SISO Smackdown, and it was done in 2011. There are people here that can say more about this. I never attended there, but we'll be lucky to hear what's going on and how it was started. So the first time SISO went overseas was in 2016 in Liverpool, UK, and then the hosting test was continued with the final event outside USA in Bulgaria in 2018. So we see we are touching more other countries. Next year, hopefully, there will be more in the list. Let's say that this year's event is challenging one, and now we had to be in Brazil. You remember, in the beautiful Sorocaba city, enjoying the sunshine and discussing the nice works. Yes, Andrea, we have to be there, really. And looking at the nice works of the university teams. Unfortunately, the pandemic situation pushed the SISO leadership team to change its plans, and we have to go back to SE basics, all working remotely in a virtual environment, preliminary from home. But as we say in Bulgaria, all bad is for good. So next year is coming. Each year more and more universities became part of this amazing initiative. I personally joined SISO in 2017 when I met Priscilla Elfrey, one of the other founders of Simulation Exploration Experience in USA. And I started as a faculty advisor of Bulgarian University. So we learned that the human space exploration begins with small steps made by people who believe in the power of human ambition and imagination. This is what I'm thinking about. We learned that each space mission grows from an idea, become a model, then simulation, which is performed before it turns into a real mission. There are few NASA people here who can share their real experience, what they do and what they continue to do in NASA. I deeply believe that the younger part of this audience here is the future of our space exploration community. I really believe. And now I want to I have the pleasure to give the floor to some of the most inspirational individuals in the field of space simulations. So we will hear today welcomes and some presentation from people like Edwin Crues, the founder of SISO, Agostino Bruzzone, academic chair of SISO, Simon Taylor, executive chair, Bjorn Moller, one of the most dedicated industry chair, also Mike Conroy. Everybody knows Mike Conroy. He's participating in each sessions in TAGAPS during these years. Of course, he is the SISO architect. Jefferson Michaelis, he is one of the main drivers also to attract universities. Not to forget Alfredo, Garro, and Alberto Falcone, which are technical advisors of the SISO. Hi, Alberto. So really appreciate you help all the new teams here. Each time there is a new team, you give your support. And Zukun Lee, I heard about you that you have started this years ago to support
the VC, but now you're already a technical chair. I'm glad.
What you need to do is read his T-shirt.
No, teacher. Yes, of course. Okay, Mike. So I'm finalizing now my speech. It's become more how to say, too official. But I really have to say that I'm so glad to work with all of you here. And because it's not a comprehensive list of people that have been supporting SE during the years. So let's now give applauses to all that made CE to happen and to evolve a really unique worldwide event. Thank you. Thank you all of you. Thank you, really. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So, and now let me give the floor to Simon Taylor, the SE Chief Executive there, to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikolay. And it's great to VC everybody. This is fantastic. So we have one thing in common, everybody. We like building models. We build simulations of things. And we have another thing in common. And I can't show this. We like linking these models together to build bigger things. Now, why is that amazing? So some of the old folks around here, and I'm not going to point at anybody, but you can guess, know how difficult it has been to build large-scale distributed simulations. So this enterprise that has brought us all together annually brings teams of students together to show how we can build something huge based on some highly difficult to compose models and highly difficult to develop models. So from a modeling and simulation point of view, this is amazing. From a distributed computing point of view, this is amazing. From a team building point of view, this is not only amazing, it is utterly unique. There is nothing else like SEE anywhere else in the world. And I just want to pause and underline this. Anybody who is active in modelling and simulation at the moment will be aware of the international efforts to deal with the current pandemic. And I want you all to pause and think, if we weren't modelling space, could we get together and model the progress of COVID at national and international levels? And I would say this team is fully capable of doing that. If you see the number of infection models out there, if you see the number of hospital models, if you see the number of vaccine production models, they're all single models. This is the only collaboration I can see that has the technical expertise to bring those models together at an international level. Now, how to move that forward, I don't know, but it's something you all should consider, because every one of you could lead a major international project like that. And if you wonder who the team is, all you've got to do is look around and see the other members of this year's SEE. Okay. Now, just a moment to pause. Priscilla Elfrey can't join us. I just want to say thank you to Priscilla. Priscilla and the team, 10 years ago or more, had the vision of pulling this together. And Priscilla has been amazingly visionary for all this. She always presents ideas and concepts to us that challenges us all and moves us all forward. So I'm sorry Priscilla can't join us, but I hope she is joining us virtually through YouTube. So hello, Priscilla. Okay, so I'm not going to go any more, apart from to do the usual thank yous of thanking the senior staff for continuing to support SEE and their excellence. And thank you to the technical support staff for making all this possible. And then finally, thank you to all the fantastic efforts of every member of the student teams of SEE. I'm really excited to see what we're going to get this afternoon. Obviously, it's a bit different this year, but it's still fantastically amazing. So that's me, and back to Nikolay.
these are her. So here is the message from Priscilla that she has sent because she's not participating. In my new happy role of CHA Emerita, focusing on how best we can support our mission not only to champion, challenge and create college-level simulation education, especially distributed simulation, as well as collaborative team leadership in the transition from student to young professional. As a member of SISO's Education Consortium Committee in 2009 and having formed its Space Community Forum, I helped shape the first event to the Simulation Multi-Conference in Boston in 2011, in large measure supported by Bill Wade. Somehow, between us, I became executive chair and Bill the industry chair, a partnership that continued until his death in 2019. During that time, under NASA, the American Indian Higher Education Consortium supported a team of faculty and students who each summer did research, development of infrastructure, materials and website. The latter with generous support from a prominent NASA Apple designer working with Upton Eltenbach as tonnage partner and supporter. Zach Crues can tell more because the initial idea was his, and Zukun was part of the original and subsequent events before becoming a NASA engineer. And even before this program, I began work, outreach and educational exchanges through work as a founder and project manager of the National Center for Simulation, working with Agostino Bruzzone starting in 1997 in Switzerland. Through another program led by Agostino, we later got to know now Professor Gregory Zakharevich as a student in Marseille in 2011. Gregory brought a Chinese student attending the University of Bordeaux to Boston. His Western name was Bryce, and he is now a professor at the Harbin Institute in China. Paul Grogan, who led the MIT team then and for several years is on the faculty of Stevens Institute, Binghang Wei, University of Alabama Hinsdale, is on the faculty of Texas Christian-led a team of Midwestern University, Texas. And of course, Simon Taylor's former student teaches at Gujarat in Pakistan. There are probably more, but my efforts failed to form an alumni association. I would be remiss if I did not report that Professor Agostino Bruzzone, the indefatigable, has participated with me since 2011 as International Academic Chair and 10-time faculty advisor every single year. Thank you, my friend. I would lead the applause if I could be there, said Priscilla Elfrey. SISO is full of surprises and lessons, providing amazing experience, and courtesy of Aristotle teaches that when you have to learn something before you can do it, you learn by doing. That can be powerful. One student even said, I always wanted to work for NASA and go to the moon, and now I did it. From the immensity of space to our new life, at the microbial level, the future will bring opportunity in the as yet untold story of modern pandemics. Simulations of infinitely tiny microbes unseen, unheard, without smell, unnoticed that can infect anyone, anywhere. Frightening stuff, unknown, unknowns, humbling. At present, we are in the midst of COVID-19. As John McLeod, who virtually invented simulation as a profession, said, simulation is a hopeful thing when the real thing is too much. And it is. In future, potential for the acceptance of complexity, the mind-shifting possibilities and understanding unique to simulation and the possibility for those so trained and so inclined indeed to help save the world. Stay safe, stay healthy. Take care of yourself and one another. Yours, Priscilla Elfrey. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you for the message. We appreciate this and we will hear this. We will be considered for all of us. So, now I would like to give the floor for the next person, and this is Edwin Crues, or how we know him, Zach. Zach, please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Great. Let me go ahead and try to presentation. If this. Thank you. Can folks see that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Shared.
We see it now.
We see it.
Oh. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use the smaller size. I just wanted to take a moment to welcome to SISO 2020, and particularly the students associated with this, because this is what I have for this 10 years of doing the impossible. And the reason I put that on there is because I've heard a lot of that over the slide itself that you see in the background here is important too, because this has been a very long time. Actually, the cover for the very first presentation David C. In 2011. So let me go for a little bit. This 10th anniversary. It's an auspicious anniversary. It's last doing the when first in the fall of 2009, fall 29 SIW. First on how we could invigorate SISO and or the concept of putting together a student simulation. Can everybody hear me okay?
You're cutting in and out a little bit, at least on my end.
Yeah, it's a little choppy, honestly. It's hard to listen.
Things here, just to see if that helps. Okay. So
I'm going to pause back
go
with
ahead.
the full video because your video is not updating anyway. That way we can still keep the slides.
Okay. Okay, there we go. How about
You sound better now.
that? Okay, so in 2009, we suggested that we go forward with the student simulation competition. And a lot of what I heard during that time period was that it's impossible. You can't have students come up to speed and learn distributed simulation and HLA in such a short time frame. But I felt that we could. I felt that this was something that we could do. And over the period of 2010, Priscilla, Elfrey, and Bill Wade, names that you've heard already this morning, came together and we started building consensus at SISO to put together what was then called the Student Simulation Smackdown event, and then became SISO. The inaugural event was hosted at the SISO Spring 2011 SIW in Boston, Massachusetts on April 4th through 8th. There were a number of teams that started in the process, but there were 5 teams that participated both locally and remotely during that time. It was a blended exercise. And one of those folks, Zuquan Lee, who's this year's technical chair, was on the NASA intern team. And you can see a picture of him there that shows Zuquan, along with Tim Cowan and Joe Hubbard, who are all early participants associated with the SISO, then Smackdown, now SISO event. Our first mission that we had was to Hadley Reel at the Apollo 15 site. This was at a time that was just post-constellation of it, and a lot of the focus at that point was on Mars, but we really focused our efforts on the moon for a number of reasons, and that seems kind of prophetic now, because now, as everybody knows, the focus of the agency, of NASA as an agency, has gone forward with returning to the moon, turning humans to the moon in 2024. And so that's, kind of where we've been headed all along. In each year since the inaugural event, we've been adding new systems and new destinations. And this year we're at Aiken Basin. We actually have been for a few years. And I can say basically the future looks bright. There's a lot of, in aerospace terms, there's a lot of runway ahead of us as far as where we can go. with all of this. And what I want to say about this, and my focus is human simulations for space systems, is that in order to execute an effective space mission, you first have to have a vision as to what's going on. I've heard it said that one of the most important people in a project is the vision keeper, the person who's keeping track of the vision of where we want to go and why we want to do it. The next step in this, before you get to doing hardware anything, really has to do with taking that vision and beginning to make it a reality. And the way that we do that today is through modeling and simulation. And so in essence, we are modeling the future of human space exploration that we see here. And so I think it's an important aspect of what's going on. And what you see in this slide here is just an image that shows kind of what the thought process is, where we have a landing on the moon, we have facilities that are positioned there, and we can begin the exploration and begin to expand human capabilities and human habitation beyond the Earth. So as we go forward in the new Artemis missions that are being planned, we're looking at some new destinations and some new missions, and these are challenging destinations and challenging missions. One of the key sites that they're going to is the lunar South Pole, and you can see from this model image, recreated image here that we've got, the lighting conditions out the South Pole are going to be very different than any of the Apollo missions that we've had in the past. You can see that there's a lot of light and dark, a lot of shadowing that's there. And so it's going to be a very challenging destination. And we're going to be relying a lot on modeling and simulation to take us there safely and to execute a successful mission. So what I really want to wrap this all up with is that the work that you all are doing here is important. This is an important aspect of where we want to go and what we need to do. And the work that you're doing really will power the future of human space exploration. So I'm excited about what I'm going to see today associated with the SEE event and where we're going in the future. And I want to applaud all of you and thank all of you for participating in what I think is a very important and very worthwhile endeavor. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
So it's really was pleasure to listen to you. Now I would like to invite the distinguished academic chair for the last 10 years, Agostino Bruzzone. Agostino, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I would like to thank you all. As was pointed out, I was here since the beginning, and I consider it as I feel most of you, and especially people that experienced it maybe as a student originally, this kind of many of us the old dinosaur still called sometimes as Smackdown, even if now is many years that the real name is SEE. And I feel this, as was pointed out, is very important because it represents a unique opportunity to train people to work in a distributed environment. And I still remember the first time when we was going in Boston, and the demonstration was carried out not in the MIT. In MIT, we make the final demonstration, the summarizing of the result. But we was there making the first integration test live, let me say, on site, even with the distributed connection. When we do this in real projects for defense, for aerospace, for any kind of other application, using HLA to connect different federates, it's always a challenge. And we work with major company, we work with people that are supposed to be experts in the field, and it's not an easy way. Remember that in Saturday, the team from NASA, there was Mike, there was Zach, there was many people going there, that was setting up the infrastructure. Someone was connecting remotely. And in Sunday afternoon, the students was able to pass an integration test. So within less than 24 hours, operating inside an hotel with all the problem constraint that you can imagine in this framework. It is very impressive if I consider for a project that value millions and millions of dollars or euro. And I will try to share quickly some image just to give you, let me check if I can make the share. Let me know if I can. I don't know if you see now the screen. You see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so here we have some images just to point out that a lot of things change, but in Boston, for instance, everybody talks about COVID-19 now, but in Boston there was Fukushima. One of the team participating in the initiative was Keito University from Japan, that unfortunately was unable to travel for another kind of contamination, not biological, but radiological. And it was the, let's say, the block of Japanese people. And we tribute their presence to the fact they carried out work by this empty chair with this fact. So as you can imagine, I talk especially for the young people. When we call an emergency, often is something that happens frequently. My team was working on biological contamination from virus. 2003, we was in Montreal. In H1N1 was around 10 years after. We was in Australia working with young people, etc. So in 20 years, we have 3 pandemics. Obviously, with different impact, very different. It's different. But I mean, we need simulation to face such crisis because it's the only way we can address the complexity of the problem. Another image, let me see. This was the original group. And you can see how young he was. There is Bjorn, that was one of the pillars. There was the great Bill Waite, Priscilla, that was Zach, and all the people around from different groups, etc. That was setting up in 2011 in Boston, the organization, some of the sponsor company. And the pitch was one of the major, even if its booth is out of the picture. At that time, we was in MIT, so I feel it was a very good way to start. I remember we had the tour in MIT, where one of the students that was joining was a pilot of U.S. Navy, a lady that was finalizing her PhD over there, and she was enthusiastic to talk with NASA because everybody, even in the top university, even in the top profession, love to work on this project. So see is a great opportunity to do really age research, not just in terms of breakthrough technology, breakthrough research, etc., but by doing things. It's a real engineering approach. And I feel this is a major added value to teach people to address this problem, as even Silo point out. Let me show something else. I hope we will be back to this kind of event where we don't just talk over VSEE or other, let me say, web system. We do all the days, even without the COVID-19, but I hope we will have opportunity soon to be back. And obviously, I would like to tribute some of the most active people that contribute with their effort, with their capability. And Bjorn for sure is here. This is an example of debugging. I don't know if you see this one, but there was a problem. I feel this was 2012 in Orlando. There was 2 teams working remotely, and there was by camera and laptop watching each other and try to set up the solution to make it work. So as you can imagine, looks crazy. But when you have to solve a problem, sometimes creativity could make even sense. And so it's funny. And obviously, NASA team is always in our heart with Conroy, Priscilla. We have Zach in another picture. Here we was playing about the different path. And I still remember that this was, I feel, the pitch was developing the first application to make it possible to federate a smartphone at the time and to be able to follow the connection. That seemed just a cool and fancy things, but was useful in order to speed up some activity of coordination and supervision. So let me show if I have some other event. And there was great discussion. I still remember this discussion where people from NASA, they was complaining, let me say, about problems in let me say, webinars, problems in video conference over there for constraint that you had. But the great success of this discussion, I don't know if Zach remember, was, okay, we have many constraints, but we are here to go over, to go on the border. And there was, I don't find a picture, but it was a picture where it was pointed out that inside one capsule or a shuttle there was the Enterprise from Star Trek flying in our federation. And obviously here we have a group even of other people like Stephen Pagalong, a great supporter, latest edition. We had now we have an asteroid that is passing not very near but around, and in at that time it was I feel in Orlando or in Tampa, there was a team connected from MBDA, that is a Matra, a joint venture between Thales and Leonardo, all the major European missile producer, that was doing interceptor with Genoa University to deflect an asteroid that even this year we redo. And that was connected in the middle of the night from there. So it was a real international working team all around. And even at the time, the federation was quite complicated. We have thousands of memory. We remember that we have team here. There is the team from Genoa, Calabria, and Huntsville, and other places that were all in the board. I remember it was touch table with all the cable, like in the old time of DIS, but maybe 20, 30 years after. We were still there working around with people connected far away. People are working on that. Young person that don't have their career was pointed out. We have technical chair now. We have engineers that reach very significant position all around that was involved in this one. And I feel this provide you an overview of what we have done along the time. And in fact, I feel that an important issue that we achieved is the fact that we create some kind of tradition, but the tradition is not just memory, because if we just write down memories on a piece of paper, they will go. The tradition is something that could survive because it's still alive, it's still active. In our field, a tradition is something that we do keeping on the edge of technology. This is the reason C is continuing to go. And the point is that we remember this time because we continue to innovate. We continue to stay on the top. And I feel this is very important for young generation. And I would like to thank all the people that make it possible. For me, it's a great honor. I give small contribution. As Genoa University, we try to always to be there to involve young people, even people from high school, not just university. Obviously, our team is mostly from university as everywhere, but we try to involve even young people because we need people enthusiasm. We need creativity. We need inventors that starting from when they are young in high school have such dream to make things work. So, Phil, this is my point of view about Smackdown, if I want to use the old name, or exploration. And I would like to thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to address at this point. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Agostino. I really appreciate your retrospection in Smackdown VSEE, and also emphasizing and underlining the next steps that the young generation should follow, because they are the future of our world, even in space. Sooner or later we have to go there, and somebody should start. Thank you for this once again. And now Bjorn, let me introduce Bjorn. He is one of the most supportive persons and experts from the industry in this challenging initiative. Bjorn, please.
Thank you, Nikolay. So I'm Bjorn Moller, and I'd like to thank in particular for Agostino for already showing all these photos of me. Very useful. I'm the industry chair. I'm also president of Pitch Technology, and we have been supporting C since its inception like 10 years ago with technical advice, IDs, VPN discussions, and software like the HLA runtime infrastructure and the Space Master and so on. I think this is a fantastic journey for all of us. And we have all learned a lot and met a lot of great people and made many friends along the road here, all of us. But I like to particularly address, in particular, the student teams here with a few words. I think that the simulation exploration experience is very, very special. You know, as a university student, you start out with the basic, you do the mathematics and so on that everybody else has already done for like 100 years in university. But C is different. With C, you get involved in something new, something that's really cutting edge. What I see in my work is that right now many industries and organizations all around the world are looking at distributed space simulation and using the new open space form standard, thinking about how to learn it, how could you use it, how can you get started. But you in the student teams, you the C participants, you are already doing it. This is a big wow and also a great start for your professional career. And it is indeed great to see the enthusiasm and achievement of the students in the simulation exploration experience. I remember meeting up with C members and teams in previous final events like in Orlando, in Boston, in San Diego. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 has prevented us to meet in real life at the final event this year, although I did have the pleasure to meet some of you in Florida at the SISO conference early this year. But fortunately, the great achievements have been easy to follow in the weekly virtual tag-ups, in GitHub discussions, and other virtual ways. So as the world is becoming more and more virtual based on technology like simulation, networking, graphics, gaming, and so on, you student teams, you are already on track. So thank you for participating, and do consider yourself member of the C alumni community. Good job, good luck in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Bjorn. I strongly believe that you continue to support even the future, providing the industry software. Thank you. So I hope Jefferson is here. Jefferson? Well, maybe he'll join later. Okay. So let's continue according to the agenda with the sharing the experience of the guys from SmashLab and Calabria team in CE. These are Mr. Alfredo Garro, Professor Alfredo Garro, and Alberto Falcone, the technical advisor of CE. Please, Alberto.
Hi, good afternoon, guys, and welcome to this new edition of this great event. This is, as Professor Bruzzone said, this a tradition, is an annual event that all of us we try to meet. Professor Garro gives you his greetings because due to academic commitments, it is not possible for him to join us. And I will be brief. And so I'm very happy and honored to be part of this great event. And I'm also happy to be part of this large family that is the CE family. And so I started working in this project, in the CE project, when I started my PhD course in the 2014. And I remember the first event that I participated was in Alexandria during the Spring Sim conference. And it was great. And each year is a great event. And me and also Alfredo and all the Smash Lab, as you know, did a good contribution. I think all of us gave a good contribution to this event. For our side, for my side, I created with the help of Zach, Dan, and also Bjorn that provided me the license for the pitch infrastructure to create and distribute the CHLA starter kit that I know that many teams is using and use it to develop their federates. And I'm very happy, and as I said, I'm very honored because when I started this journey to the sea, I met a lot of friends. I remember when I was at JSC with Zach, and all of you are my friends, and we did, I think, a good job for make the sea a great and bigger event. I think that is all for my side. Thank you, Nikolay.
Thank you, Alberto. Thank you. I think that you are a real example how, from a student involved in SE from almost the very beginning, you develop your skills, your competencies, and now you become a real professional in this field. Right.
Yes.
So,
right.
Glad to say it. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikolay.
So now we will continue with one very interesting presentation from Mike Conroy, who is a former NASA engineer. Currently, he is a CE architect. We know him like Mike. So Mike, please, waiting for you. Thank you.
I may or may not have. Okay, video is not coming up, but let me go share something. Can you all see something?
I see your presentation, Mike.
Yes.
Fantastic. Video is not popping up, but that's okay because the video seems to be part of the problem. Y'all have been working on this, and everybody here has been working on this for 10 years. I learned a lot from these teams and from the people that are doing this work over those years. Phenomenal things. And I wanted to share some of what this group has taught me backwards. Zach and Dan, you saw some of Dan's pictures, and the other folks helped go teach this, and I wanted to go add some few things to it. But Smackdown 2020, the lessons that y'all have taught me that I want to go share back. As engineers, as scientists, as professionals, we design things, build things, change things, solve problems, teach, share, learn, and we help each other. I want to touch base with y'all on a challenge. I've seen a lot of things over the years that have worked out wonderfully. Projects that did exactly what they were supposed to do, and I've also seen a large number of things that did not work out as wonderfully as one would have hoped to give us what we're looking for. The category of cases that worked out as not so well usually involved something that we didn't anticipate, something that we didn't see coming, something that we didn't know, or something we didn't understand. In all of the years I've spent, and it's a very, very large number of years, working large complex problems, I've never met anyone who got up in the morning and went into work deciding that they were going to go make a mistake that day. That just doesn't happen. Complex systems, multi-decadal systems that take decades to design and then decades to use. There give us a lot of opportunities to make mistakes. And if we make a mistake, in some cases, we're not going to be discovered for years or even decades. The goal is to be able to go change this. To start off, if we're going to go deal with something or talk about something that takes this long or is going on this long, I want to share with some definitions. These definitions are only a couple of decades old, so they've only been around for a little bit. But we model things. We have a discussion of a model. A model represents the thing that we want to study, the system we're going to go build or what we're going to try and do. We do that with as much detail as we can for the study. We simulate behavior. You all have built models. You all have built simulations. The simulations are the parts that move. How does the model that we create behave? How does it work with others? And then we make a decision when we look at our models and we look at our simulations to decide what we're going to go do next. We've seen something from the model, we've seen something from the simulation, and then we're going to go see something from what we decide to do. We're going to communicate that to everybody else so that we can go forward and have more people involved in what we're doing. The challenge we've got is we're building something that's going to be used a great deal in the future, and what we really need to know, or what we would really like to know, is what that future is going to go look like. So what we need is a time machine. If we could see the future, what if we could go see the future? The things that are in it, and how they behave in the future. What we created, how was it used? How was it completed? How was it taken care of? And ideally, if we can reach out to the users, the people that are using what we designed or built, 10, 20 years ago, and we really want to know what they think. What they think of what we did, what they wish we had done. This might be a slightly painful process when we go find out what they think of what we did, but if we had this data, we could go do more. If we could see our plans and see how they actually worked out, we could see if we did it right, see if we did complete everything, see if people can use it, see if somebody else can go use it. And the most important part about this, looking into the future, is if we understand how people are going to go use it and how our stuff is going to go be used, we can turn around and say, man, we should have done this, or we should have done this, or we should have done this. And we can do a better job if we were able to go see into the future. We've got the types of things that we would like to see. A lot of detail. If I had my time machine, I would say that I want to see the place where my things are being used. I want to see what's around them, see what ended up being what was there, and understand exactly the environment it's going to go be in. Like I said before, what we're looking at is I want to see how my design or my creation behaves with the things that are around them. And then if I can see that, if I have that window, I can go tell what I should do different, decide what would be the best thing to do, and go share it with people. We would make changes until we got to the future that we wanted, or a future that we would expect that everybody would be happy with. But if we can't see this future, if we can't see what we're looking at, there might be something that we do not know. Zach will probably go share this. I think engineers across the world will go share this thought. We're not afraid of what we know that we don't know. The major fear I have, and the major fear many people I know have, is we're afraid of the things that we do not know that we do not know. In some cases, it's impossible to go find out. In others, there's some clues. I had a large visualization project we ran for a number of years. In fact, I think it's still running now. So it's been running longer than many of us have been around. And the example that we used when we talked with that is we had two engineers that would periodically come in, and they need to understand how a spacecraft or a launch vehicle, a rocket, fit in with the systems and everything else. And we had someone that would come in and they would bring in a box. It would be a huge box of drawings and sketches and thoughts and everything else, and say, I need you to, all of this data, I need to have it in the simulation. And it would be a relatively good sized box. And the team would sit down, the simulation team would sit down and go through the box, pull all the data out, and go build a simulation. And the box was a grand thing because the box was a lot of data. The box had a lot of things that were known in it. We had another engineer that was known for coming in with a folder, very, very small manila folder. And that folder was all that was known at the time. And when the folder came in the door was the scary time, because it didn't have the data that was needed to represent the future. It didn't have the data that was needed. And the end result, the simulation team was going to have to put significantly more work into trying to go understand what was intended, significantly more work into trying to understand what's going on, just to be able to go show the future that was relevant to the decisions that had to be made. So what the simulation would do is let them know, or just the act of trying to go build the simulation, let you know if you were in a folder situation, did you not know enough about what was happening? Did you not know enough about what was intended to be done? Or did you have a box of data where you really understood the future that you had? My recommendation going forward is everybody try as much as they can to be in the box category. Know as much as you can about the future that you want. Know as much as you can about what we're doing so that we can represent it and see what happens. And if in doubt, the simulation will kind of tell you the process and the pain you go through to develop the simulation will tell you whether or not you understood it and how well it went. So our goal is to understand, see what we need to see, and we wanted to talk about some tools and some ways to go do this. We've all dealt with sketches, we've all dealt with drawings. I have on literally put it on the back of napkins to go share with people. Could we use a sketch to go design a system or design something complex? If we're going forward or we're going to go represent our future, will a sketch work? In the not really category, this image isn't really tangible, but I can kind of communicate a little bit about what's going on. But if I've got a pencil drawing on a piece of paper or an ink drawing on a piece of paper, I can't really integrate it with anything else. I can't extend it and I can't really measure anything on it. Could I use a sketch for a simulation? Could I use a sketch to go understand this future? The answer is yeah. It communicates kind of what I intend. But again, I can't do a lot with it. Overall, it's really, really, really hard to go build a system, especially a complex system, to a sketch. But if I've got a sketch, it's better than me waving my hands and saying we would have something like this in the background, something like this over here, something like this over there. So it's considered documentation, but it's at the on the back of a napkin or the back of an envelope type category. It's not even considered sufficiently robust to be considered on a whiteboard. One of the questions we saw, or one of the things that we had was, can I use a rendering to be able to go do some of these things and see what we need to go look at? Is that a possibility? The answer for that one becomes looks a little better in the not really category. The image is still not really tangible, but it is sufficient to communicate. It's a lot better than the sketch that was out there. I got a cleaner picture of it. A 3D rendering usually cannot be integrated. It can't be extended. It can't be measured. It looks nice. So again, it's better than the sketch, but it's not really, we can't extend it forward that far. In the yes category, it does help us communicate our intent. It can be distributed. It can be recorded. And it can be compared to different things. It's still kind of hard to build to. It's like a better sketch, but it is much, much better than waving hands. And it often generates some data. Sometimes the data is difficult to use. 3D models for a rendering aren't going to go work well further down the road. We can't, that's not something we use to do CAD or anything like that off of, but it is better than what we had before with a sketch, and it is more useful than a sketch. As we look further down the road and say, okay, let's do a little more fidelity into this, can we use a video game to go see our future? Can we use the tools that we've got that are in game consoles, that are in game systems and things like that all over the place? Now, will that help us go see the future? Or is this a place we can go put the future? There's not a lot in the no column on this one. The less column tells it, I can use it to go communicate intent. I can use it for a lot of things like that. It can be distributed easily. I can send copies of a video game a lot of places and people can go move around the environments. And the elements can be extracted and updated. I can change a rover out in a video game. I can't really do that in a rendering. I can change the behaviors out and I can tell things what to go do. What this lets us go see is if we've got a video game that is showing us what our future looks like or what we think the future looks like, we come to an agreement that says, where the customer says, hey, build something that kind of looks like this and build something that kind of acts like this. It supports our ability to kind of decompose things and go pull things down, so that's a big plus. But physics and math and video games will probably let us down on the line. If we have some time to go into it, Zach and I can probably share some examples of things that went with that. But we can understand a little more than we could with the rendering. We can understand a little more than we could with the sketch. But again, the physics and math aren't going to let us do things like figure out when the sun's going to rise on the moon and how much solar capacity we've got or the ability to go see things we have. How about if we had a really good game with really good math and really, really good physics? What if we used a game tool to go show what a concept looks like? Games are really, really good at user navigation, the ability to go see things and put stuff around. Their math is more geared towards entertainment than doing real work or doing hard work. I'm not going to say real work, doing hard work. If we use a simulation to do good math to show how our concept behaves and exactly how it behaves, and we can go verify it, And then we tie a bunch of those simulations together to go understand how a whole complex system of things work, so that we can go see how this model works with this model, this system works with this system, and this simulation works with this system. Could we do that to go get a really good vision of the future? Take 3D models. We take 3D models and share the concept in a game display. Use C, C++, Sharp, Java, use simulations in whatever language we want to go write to move our systems around and to represent their behavior in a way that is the best that we can go do at the time. And then connect all these simulations together so we can share it. If we're in just a game, we're limited by the amount of numbers we can go crunch. If we spread our simulations out and let them talk to each other, we can add more and more capability to it to get a better and better product. We can design and test systems that are intended, in the environment they're intended to go use. We can have others share their thoughts on this future. We can expand it a lot more and get everybody's idea is the future that we represented the right one, and of the systems that we put into the right ones that we want to see. And then we can keep a record of everything that has happened. My future looked like this, or I thought the future would look like this. I thought the systems would look like this, and here's a record that I've got that I can go share and go do things with. That would be incredibly useful and incredibly helpful, because I can share that with the people that were there when we talked about them. I can share that with the people that are going to come later, or pass it around to a group to go work. And the question becomes, what would this end up looking like? To most of the folks on this call, or most of the folks at this conference, this should sound very, very, very familiar. Here's some shots that I stole from previous SIE events where we can go look at all of the systems that people are intending to go build. We can go a long distance. The image on the left, you can sit on the moon. If you can find Mars in the sky, you can fly all the way to it. That's a big sim that you'll never go do in a game, and you won't do with a bunch of other tools. The image on the bottom, on the right, is systems that people built that were using this. We're going to leverage the game. We're going to leverage Steam capabilities. We're going to leverage engineers, and we're going to leverage the world. There's a flyer down there that was designed by the University of Liverpool, and they did most of their design work for the flyer, along with the control system software and all of the design work to go pull it together and understand how it would do. And by combining the best of all of the different tools that were involved, they did it in a day. It was one of the most amazing things. Everybody I've talked to, it's one of the most amazing things they've seen. And then we want to keep a record of what we did that's probably going to last longer than what our videos last, and longer than what our game tools last. So we write down everything it did. In this case, you can see the flyer from the University of Liverpool. We can see where it was, when it was in that particular location, what its orientation was, and who it was attached to, for the coordinate system information. Those of you that have been working through what MPC does and how to get MPC to go get formed correctly and displayed correctly and done, that's exactly what this is. So if our ideal worldview is a game with good math and physics to let us see everything as we think it's going to go be, and invite the world in to come look at what we did to make sure we got it right, I would make the case, and several would back me up on it, that's what y'all are doing right now in SIE. That's what y'all are learning how to go do. That's what you're building. That's what you're making so that we can go design better things in the future and better systems. It's my belief that you can model things. All the people in here can model things, and they can simulate the behavior. You can see what you want to do, work with the people you're building these for, and show them what you think it behaves like, and then work with them to go make a decision. So you can go make a decision that and then go share the decision that you made and what you based it on. I think you can do all this on a massive scale. Earth, Moon, Mars, easily. You've done that already. Teams before you have done that already, and we built on it. It's my belief that you have the tools to change how humans design and build complex stuff. And I really believe that this change is going to go occur, that the people here, that what y'all are doing, you're going to be the ones to go do this. It's time, at least definitely in my case, to go pass the torch. Zach's almost as old as I am, passing the torch. If you look around, we're all getting up there. The people who are going to go do this and fundamentally change the way humans go design and build things for the future is going to be all. And I'm really happy and very, very comfortable with this being, with you being the group that goes and carries us forward. So I want to thank you very much for all that you've done. I want to thank you for all that you've seen. I want to thank you for all that you've learned. And I want to very, very interested in seeing where you go take the world next. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you for showing. Yes. Thank you for showing the future engineers what they have to see and what they have to do to become real space engineers using simulations.
I love talking to people smarter than I am.
You never talk to people smarter than you. Yeah. Okay. So I see that Jefferson Michaelis has joined now the call. Jefferson, are you here?
Hello guys, hello Nikolay, Mike and Andrea and everybody there, Agostino. I'm very glad to be here with you guys today.
Can you say a few welcome words to everybody that is here today?
Of course, yes. Actually, as you all know, we were planning a very big and educational final where everybody would be, or most of us would be present in Brazil, but due to this unexpected circumstances, actually SISO is, in my view, is doing exactly what we all aim to do. We are all here virtually during the final conference, learning a lot. I am here back at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, and my vision with the partners, actually most of you know that I am devoting my time most to the Michaelis Foundation for Global Education and KSCIA, where our main goal is to promote education across different nations. So I believe this year is showing us that we are doing the right thing. And since the beginning, SISO actually was poised to really be a great educational form of us to unite, not compete. And this is a very wonderful way for all of us to understand that collaboration is a way to go, always was and always will. And I'm very pleased to be here with you guys and girls and everybody. And hopefully, when everything is back to the new normal, we can plan to see each other face to face next year, hopefully in the beautiful country of Brazil. And hopefully most of us will be joining SISO 2020. And I have a special appreciation for two individuals who were a great blessing to bring me to this particular experience. And one of the persons that I believe it was very crucial to this is Mike Conroy. I'm very thankful for his knowledge. And I believe we are learning a lot with Mike. And also, I am very pleased to say that I am very thankful for Facens in Brazil as well, where we had a chance to expand, and also our collaboration with Nikolay and all the other folks around the world. So I am I'm very happy to see all of you here today, and I think this again is going to bring a lot of prosperity, because the modeling and simulation and the gaming industry, it's all growing, and this is going to become a multi-billion-dollar industry. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. I agree with you that the future is in the virtual reality and simulation. It will be a groundbreaking profession very soon. I hope the students will hear that and open their eyes to understand how beneficial could be their participation in such a project-based learnings like CE. Thank you. So now there is an interesting moment with the so-called web group photo. I would like to invite everybody to unmute their cameras. Because there are too many people, I hope you'll be able to make the photo.
Do it in 2 parts.
Yes, you can separate it in several.
It's never a problem to have too many.
Okay, I'm going to take the photo. Let's give a few more seconds. There we got a couple more people. Okay. Right. Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Zikun. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shater, the photo will be shared in GitHub, so it's good. Hopefully, in such kind of teleconferences, the the break is not how to say. It's not a usual thing, so everybody could break during the call. For that reason, we will continue with the next session, which are the CE 2020 teams presentations. This is a dedicated session for those university teams that due to the COVID pandemic or other reasons were not able to accomplish and finalize their works and to become part of the Federation simulation. So Mike, now I give you the floor as a moderator, and when you're ready we can start with the first teams. As I see here, not all the teams listed are here, so maybe it's better if you ask which is available. Thank you.
Okay, we'll just walk down the list. Again, I want to thank everybody for all that was done. The amount of work that was done by everybody, both in the planning phases and in the software execution, was absolutely phenomenal. I was just blown away and continue to be blown away by everything that was done. I know we lost some folks along the way from what they had to go take care of themselves. We will definitely welcome them back next year. For the teams to go walk through their presentations on the data that they've got. Is there anybody from AILS here today? Okay, is there anybody from Brunel here today?
Yes, Mike.
Would you please share with us the sims you were pulling together and the work you were attempting to do and the work you pulled together?
Yes. Okay, so let me share the screen. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So, hello everyone. My name is Nora, and I will be presenting for Brunel and Nigerian team as well. And this is our message to the world. Everyone stay safe and healthy. And that's it. So for CE 2020, Brunel decided to, join the world in celebrating the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. And two of our brilliant faculty members brought about, a scale model, as you can see from the picture. This is our baseball card, and it's a model with some settlements there connected through a Raspberry with strips, which shows interactions and, certain activities going on, between the settlements. And there is a central facility that, interact with them, and then, they communicate through the model. So this is a lunar-based modeling and simulation group, as we call it, and it has certain color indication, indicating certain states or interactions between the, models. So in brief, this is what it is. Simon is here. If there's more information, I think he might add. But let me just show you a closer look at the, layout of the model, how it works. Okay, before then, this is our team. So the two guys you see, Dr. Anastasia and Professor Simon, are the two main faculty. They are the brain, child of this model we are creating at Brunel. So they built it from scratch and everything. And I and Dr. Nadine, we did the Federate creation image rendering, and unfortunately we couldn't make it to done due to the lockdown of the university. So this is the layout of the whole model. Actually, as you can see from the pictures, these are the TT building models. They are connected through strips, and all the strips are the interactions that happens in the settlement, and each one has different, each color indicates different activity. Research is interacted, the strips or the LED change to green color. Mining.
No. Sorry, we've got a technical problem. It doesn't look like your slides are updating. So no, it has. So that's obviously magic. I'll shut up now.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Oh no. Sorry. Yeah. All right. So can you chip in, Simon?
Yes, it just updated. Sorry about that.
Yeah. All right. All right. So from where should I go back again?
No, carry on.
All right. So this is the layout. This is a closer look at the layout, for the moon base. These are the buildings connected with the Raspberry Pis, and the interactions happen through the LEDs. They have different colors, and the colors are indicated for research. You see it's green for mining, orange. These are the different interactions that happens through the Raspberry Pis, and actually this is the whole idea of this model is to form a basis for the future of distributed computing and, visualization of simulation models, especially for this program, like when you have different models interacting with each other. This is a mock or like a test bed we created, but I think for 2021 we'll have more interactive or more, functioning models that will go, to the C program. So let me show you a small video of how this model works, or the model in action. Actually, I shared this during the tag period, but I can show you. Can you be able to see the video? Are you seeing a video?
Not yet.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay, so let me check maybe the screen sharing.
No, it looks like it was unshared.
Okay. Uh-oh. Okay, it's unshared. Uh-huh.
Yeah, just reshare it. Should fix it.
Okay.
We see it. The PowerPoint screen.
Oh, the PowerPoint. All right. Okay, so where can I?
It's a good stress test for VSEE, because this is an embedded YouTube video in PowerPoint on VSEE, so this would be good.
Okay, so let me see if it's maybe it plays, but small a bit. Okay. the end. So it's a very short display of what we have done. So thank you for this opportunity. So Mike, back to you.
You might also direct them to the website that you've got there too. They can always view it on the website as well.
Yes, yeah, there. Yeah, here's the link. I think I put it in the PDF uploaded to the team presentation folder, so everyone can access it. Let me paste the link on the chat.
I just sent the link in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
no problem.
Okay.
Hey, Nora, thank you very much. I see Svetlana here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what Dobrik was doing this year?
Yes, actually, I will be presenting this year's project. I'm Božidar Zagorov, the 3D modeler for Team Dobrik. Let me just share the screen. Is it shared?
Yes, we see the YouTube screen.
Okay, I will just start the video. If you have any questions, I will answer gladly.
Božidar, sorry, we cannot hear your voice in the video.
You don't hear the voice?
No.
Maybe if Nura unshares their screen, Mr. Nura Tijani, if you unshare and then leave only one person screen sharing, maybe that might fix it. Because there's two people screen sharing right now.
Yes, you're right. Yes.
I would also suggest, if you get a chance, go ahead and post on the chat line the link to the videos that you're showing, and that gives people a chance to just bring them up on their own and view them.
Okay, done. So, do you see my sharing?
Yes, the Team Dobrik YouTube screen.
Should I start it? Is everything okay?
Yes. I hear you clearly, yes.
Okay.
Božidar, we cannot hear your voice yet. Maybe you can explain us, because I know that the movie is recorded with the voice and explanations.
Oh, okay. Then I will be...
Just
okay.
Briefly. Okay, thanks.
I'll start over then. So this is the biodome, the previous year's project. I wanted to show this first because the change a lot to the previous years. This is this year's project, and I will be explaining every part separately. This is the outer dome. The idea of the outer dome is to be filled with oxygen, so you don't have to wear spacesuits inside the dome and any piece of equipment. And it's made of the same materials as the biodome, the same aluminum glass. This is the water cleaning system. On the left is the part of the cleaning system which cleans the water up to 99%. The other 1% can be used as a fertilizer for the biodome, and then the clean water goes to the right container, which is filled with clean water. Now this is the main building. It has 4 floors, if we don't include, of course, the roof. There's an elevator and the sewer system which goes to the water cleaning system. Now this is the first floor. The first floor is canteen. These are fridges, so you can store food and stay fresh for much longer. When you don't need the tables, the tables and arms. Yeah, they go under the ground because space is limited, and you have to make use of it as much as you can. Those are the showers. They look absolutely the same for men and women. They are only every floor has showers and toilets. This is these are the toilets. This is the second floor. It's a fitness. Now the fitness has a big part in going in space because Moon has only 1/6 of Earth's gravity, and your body stretches. So you have to keep your body in healthy, and you have to prevent that stretchiness, and you have to keep yourself fit. Those on the bottom right are walkers, so you can put your clothes there. The third and the fourth floors are bedrooms. Now the bedrooms, the beds can fold together to the ceiling, so you can save space. With the same idea, you have to make use of the space because it's limited. On the bottom of the beds there are lamps, which when they are folded can be used as lights, and when they are unfolded, you can still use them as night lamps. And those are wardrobes, so you can put your clothes, of course. Now this bottom layer is electromagnet, which should now the idea of this electromagnet is to make an artificial gravity, which should be able to at least 80% of Earth's gravity. so you can walk almost normally, like you're on Earth, but you're. This includes pretty much this year's project. Before we end the video, I have one important message to everybody who's watching from home. I hope you stay safe because we are in difficult times. And I hope everybody is all right.
Thank you, likewise.
Thank you.
This was absolutely awesome. Thank you very, very much for sharing it with us. Looking forward to even more wonderful next year when we get the chance to go do things. I really do like the layout.
Mike, if you allow me to say something, it's Nikolay speaking. Can you hear me, Mike?
Yep. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes. I just wanted to note something about the Dobrich team. Just to let to know everybody that this is not a university team. This is a high school team. So the person that I just presented soon will go to the university. So we have for the first time the previous year a school team, which is good for us, I think. Thank you.
I think that's fantastic, and whatever university you end up at, I'd be happy to go work with you to get a university team involved. Awesome job to you and your team and your faculty. Good job, everybody.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, I don't believe we have anybody here from the Embry-Riddle Daytona team. I know we have the Munich team down the list a little tiny bit. Is anybody here from Daytona? I know we have people here from Facens. So Facens, would you please walk us through your project?
Hi, Mike. Sure. Can anyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so hi everyone, I am Thais and I'm going to present the space gantry developed by Facens team. So I'm going to talk about our objective this year, our federates, the interactions that we made, and some cool stuff about our team members. So our goal was to think further away, so why not simulate a space gantry for astronauts during a mission? Having this in mind, our team developed two federates. The first one is composed by two models, the space rocket and the launching pad, and the other federate is the space probe. The launching pad, aka as LAPA, is a bridge-like overhead structure with a platform supporting the rocket. This is our final 3D model. It was designed on SketchUp and 3ds Max. The other federate is the space rocket, aka as ROC. It is responsible for transport materials collected by the rovers, our previous federate, and this year we made some cool interaction with the space station from Munich team to inform if the station is ready or not to refuel our rocket. This is our final 3D model. It is also designed on SketchUp and 3ds Max. Our last federate is the space probe, aka as SPOB. That is an unpiloted, unmanned device sent to explore the space and gather scientific information. It will communicate with the rovers and track them to find the best route for them. This is our final 3D model, and it also designed with 3ds Max and SketchUp. So here is our interaction with the Munich team. The space station send a request to the rocket and inform if it's ready or not to refueling. If the station is ready, the space rocket changes the reference and goes to the station. Once this is done, the rocket returns to the launching pad, and this interaction is going to be presented later by the Munich team. So after all models were developed for the CE, we printed them on a 3D printer and presented on Science Days. That is a special day to bring some science for everyone. In this photo, you can see our models from this year project. The LAPA, there is the launching pad, the rocket, and the SPOB. And some models from our previous CEs, such as the astronaut and the lunar habitat. This is our team, with some nice people who are with us in the science days, like Jefferson, Carla, Gabe, Dr. Kumar, and our advisors. And this is our whole team. This is our whole team. Thank you so much.
That's awesome, everybody. Genoa, are you ready to talk to us today?
Yes. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I am here. I am team leader of Genoa University team. This year we worked on solar storm satellite warning system. So why do we need a warning system? First, because of solar flares. They're quite dangerous and can destroy, damage the electronic equipment. In the last year, we've seen a lot of interest from the leading space agencies, and only a couple of months ago, it was deployed a solar orbiter, a new satellite devoted to study of the sun, to be able to trace and predict the solar storms. Another problem are asteroids. Indeed, they fall all the time, but thanks to the atmosphere, we don't see them. Still, even today, in this moment, only in 6 million kilometers from us, we can observe quite a big asteroid, which otherwise could be a dangerous threat for the planet. Of course, on the moon, the situation is much more dangerous due to the fact that magnetic field is almost absent, as well as atmosphere. So solar flares and asteroids are much more dangerous. So our objective is to develop some system to notify and save people. And at the first step, we identified these threats. Then we decided which countermeasures we would like to apply. In case of solar flares, we can't do much. Mostly, we can notify people about the danger. In case of asteroid, sometimes we can try to deviate it out from the base. At the next step, we calculated stable orbits around the moon to deploy our network of satellites devoted to detection of solar flares and asteroids and potentially any other threats. We developed models, and finally we implemented all the logic in a simulator written in Java. The simulator is conformant to interoperability standard HLA, and we tested it with Dawn. We developed several models, one for asteroid, which is quite big in our case, is about several tens of meters in diameter. We developed satellites. They are all, let's say, the same model, but we have a couple of satellites around the moon. And last but not least, we have a lunar base and an interceptor. So, how the system works? First, we need to detect a threat. Of course, we can't wait for some threat, so we generate it in order to be sure that the asteroid goes exactly toward the base. After the base calculates the interception point. From one side, it's convenient to intercept the asteroid as far as possible from the moon, but the fuel tank's capacity of interceptor are limited, so we can't go to some infinite distance, and we need to choose the best point of interception. Then, when we know how to intercept, we deploy the interceptor. Of course, for the demonstration, we do it manually. In such case, we deploy it usually too early, so we can intercept it, but still we have possibility to do some tests and demonstrations. In case of successful interception, the trajectory of asteroid is changed, so it's deviated and falls in some other place, maybe on other side of the moon, or even don't touch the moon's surface. So this year the development was quite difficult due to the lockdown, but still we managed to achieve some result. So I would like to thank my team members for their good job, as well as to thank all the consultants and industrial sponsors for provided opportunity. So that's basically it. And next, during the next session, I will share video we registered from Dawn, as well as we will try to do some demonstration in Dawn. Thank you.
Awesome job. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. Looks great. I think our next team is Munich. I think we have Jacob for Munich. And take it away, Jacob.
Hello, Mike. It's me, Felix. We're gonna go on with the presentation for Munich. Jacob's gonna share his screen right now. Just wait a few seconds, please.
My new plan is not to guess who's going to present anymore. I'm sure I've got the idea.
Okay. All right, you can see the screen?
Yes, we do.
All right, let's go. So welcome to the presentation of the Munich team. Today we're going to present you the Munich Lunar Space Station, or MLSS. Next sheet. All right, we're going to start with the outline. First, Jacob's going to talk about our mission, the objectives and the challenges we had to face. Then I'm going to introduce the team members. Then we're going to talk about our federates and the interactions.
Yes. So our goal was to refuel a spacecraft with the lunar ice. So we have different steps to take to get the ice at first, and then we need to convert to make a conversion of the ice, and then refuel a spacecraft. And that's also the steps which we needed to take to implement them in the simulation this year.
So our team members, we have our faculty advisor, Professor Siebold, who is not online, who's not here today. Our team leader, Jacob, and me, Felix. So we divided the workload between programming and modeling. I did a bit of programming and modeling, and so did Jacob. So yeah, that's it, pretty much. All right, then to the federates, we have 4 federates. We have the space station, we have the space station arm, the ice orbiter, and the fueling system. We have a small animation. Check if you can start it. Yeah, you can see the blue dot, the blue cylinder. This is our ice orbiter, which is launched at the moon's surface and gets transported to our space station. Yes.
Yes, our space station is pretty much oriented at the same overall structure as the ISS. So we have solar panels, we have the fuel tanks to store the converted ice, then we have satellite stations, and so on. I will show you the more details during the simulation.
All right, so our space station arm, it's a eddy current brake, and we have our ice orbiter approaching the space station with an iron core, and we use an eddy current brake or ECB to decelerate the ice from 64 meters per second to 0, and the ECB can have variable catching positions. It detects the ice orbiter and then aligns with its orbit. And in addition to that, it also docks to the airlock of the NLSS, and after that, the ice gets transported into the space station.
So next we have our two last batteries. This is the fueling system and the ice orbiter. So the fueling systems consist only of a flag which shows that the space station is able to refuel a spacecraft or not. So you can see this on the right side of the screen. And on the left side of the screen, you see the ice orbiter. So we calculated the flight orbit of the ice, which is launched on the north side of the pole. And then you can see the flight path going to the space station where you can catch it. In the simulation, we just got the points and we'll show them on the screen, but as it will take 2.5 days roughly to go from the moon to the lunar station, it will just show you the last few meters, so it won't take that much time.
Right, so we have one interaction with PhaseSense. They have that rocket, and after we converted the ice to fuel, we were able to fuel another rocket or spacecraft, in this case, the rocket of PhaseSense. Yes. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed our presentation. Yeah. Any questions?
So Mike, that's absolutely fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing the simulation. Thank you very, very much.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. In the vein of not guessing who comes up next, do we have anybody from the Naval Academy to present what they designed this year?
Yes. Just a second to share screen. Can you see?
Yes, we can see. Thank you very much.
Okay, I am Evgeny Andreev, the team leader of Naval Academy Bulgaria. First of all, this is our SketchUp of our ideas. And this SketchUp was made by our main designer. It's very cool, I think. Like 2 years ago and previous year, we have 3 main teams: researchers, programmers, and 3D designers. But this year we have 1 designer for our SketchUp ideas. We have a team with 20 students. Our idea was to create a mobile moon base with 4 modules. We think a lot, and we have 4 models that can be together like a Lego, but they can separate and to go to do some stuff. The 4 models of mobile moon was mining module, biosphere module, moon tourism for humans who want to go to the moon, and scientific module. All of the models can move horizontally and vertically. We have 2 federates. The first is lunar tramp, something like lunar train, and lunar miner. We use for 3D objects SketchUp and AutoCAD. This is
Evgeny, sorry for interruption. We cannot see the other slides.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We are only on the first one.
Now?
Not yet.
Oh.
Now we can. Yes.
Okay.
It's in Naval Academy, slide 2.
Okay. So this is our first ideas for 3D objects. We start to create them like in January, but because of the this virus, we can't continue. This is the original SketchUp with the Earth here, and I think it's very beautiful, really. This is the first idea for lunar tram, and this is the lunar miner here, the biosphere, and here we have something like not plane, something that can go up and down. Sorry. Okay. This is another SketchUp. This is the miner. And what was the idea with the lunar tram? The idea was to have something like train stations, so we can send resources to the other teams. But this was only the idea. We can't do it, but I think we can do it next year. This is the one of the first tries to create 3D tram. Our team is completely new, so nobody except me was previous year. And this is first attempts to create lunar miner. The team, the main members of the team is here, and other 3D ideas for the trams you can see here. What's next? We think to create another paper for conference to research and improve our project and ideas, and to find new students to the project. And we hope to see each other in next CE event. Thank you for your attention.
That's awesome. Thank you very, very much. I had no idea you got this. You got this much accomplished. This is absolutely great. I love the artwork. Good job. I think Nura already presented for the Nigerian team. We did that along with Brunel. So next up, I've got the University of Central Florida team.
Hello. This is Freddie from the UCF team. Today, Jessica and I will be presenting our contribution to the CE 2020 event. So I'm going to share my screen, and then we will get started.
Don't see anything yet. Now we do.
Okay, I'll go into the present mode. So, has it loaded for everybody?
Yes, for me.
Yes. Okay, so once again, my name is Freddie, and we
I'm Jessica.
are part of the UCF branch of the Simulation Exploration Experience event. Our jobs this year were initially to set up the infrastructure of the entire event to allow for all of our international teams to work together and see each other's simulations inside of like one distributed network so that everyone could interact and exchange data in real time. To do that, we used a number of software given to us from NASA as well as from Bjorn Moller here from Pitch RTI. or from Pitch Technologies. And the next slide I'll show you is a diagram of sort of the concept of how our system that we created works. I won't go into too much detail here, but all of these, Computer 1, 2, 3, and 4, are international teams that are connecting to our server, which is in the cloud. And through that connection, they are all communicating their different simulation models, like the SRMR was a rover and the ISURU was a space station. And once they connected to the VPN, they would be able to connect to the server and communicate that information. So 3 things that we had to set up to get this entire architecture / infrastructure working were the Space Master Federate, which created an executable federation for everyone to connect to, the HLA to MPC Federate, which was actually taking all of this data from all of these teams and actually spinning it to our client viewer, which is known as Dawn. And that was actually the simulation view that we will all be seeing later. And the final thing was the Space Reference Frame Publisher, which was actually defining data elements like the Earth and the Moon, the Sun, and like pushing time forward. So those were 3 important things we had to set up for the architecture to work. And thankfully, we got that all set up around February for everyone to start working together. After that, our team decided to focus more on developing a simulation inside of it. And we decided to work with, actually, this is how it looks when everyone connects. I'm actually going to skip this slide, excuse me. But the things my team decided to work on were vegetation on the lunar surface. One of our federates is actually just a tomato. It's not as crazy as like a space station, but we wanted to put something like that on the simulation so that we could simulate natural food growth on the lunar surface. And sorry about that, but yeah, so we wanted to put that in the simulation, and we wanted to have it like a time variable that would grow and be ripe at a certain point. And once it hit like a ripe status, we would have our second federate, the robotic arm, also called a harvester. It would get triggered and it would go and pick up the ripe tomato, and then the tomato would ideally disappear. With future implementations, we would actually want to have more things affecting the growth of the tomato, like more than just time, like nutrition in the soil, the amount of light that actually hits the tomato, and a few other things like that. Of course, we'd want other vegetation, and ideally we'd like it to interact with the greenhouse that Fasten's implemented in C 2018. But if we couldn't figure out that, I think next year's goal for Jessica and I as alumni of C would be to try to put these entities into like a more realistic environment on the lunar surface and actually create some more mobility and more dynamic functions for why like the growth would happen. Maybe even implementing an illness in the vegetation would be really cool to simulate how things would be handled in that sense. And that is pretty much everything my team has developed and shown. So unless there's any questions, I think I can end my presentation here. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Last thing we've got on the list is University of Pakistan. Do we have someone here to tell us about the project this year? Yeah, I'm going to take that as a hello.
Students are not ready today because there is the internet connection problem, and they are unable to connect.
Oh no. Newman, is it possible for you just verbally to give us just a quick overview? Would it be possible, Newman, for you just to tell us in a few words what they were doing? Okay, well, I definitely hope that we see them next year and see them with what follows up. But I would really like to go see them the next time around. Please extend my welcome to SEE, and the fact that the internet doesn't work is a very, very sad thing. I'm very sorry. That's what we've got for the teams that are here and able to go present and go talk. I want to say, add one little thing related. I've gotten a great deal of feedback from several elements of the teams about students continuing to go be a part of SEE after graduation, after they go move on. What we're setting up is an alumni team for people who want to stay around, the students that want to stay connected to SEE, possibly be our next Sue Kwan who sticks around and actually comes back in a leadership role. If you would like for me to add your GitHub ID to the SEE alumni team, please either drop me a note in the chat for the global team or just send me an email directly send me an email directly and I'll go get you moved into become a part of that team. Nikolay, I think that's the end of our university team presentations. Take it away.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Thank you for this session, moderating this session. I think that we have seen such a beautiful and amazing work, so much creativity I see in this presentation. Hopefully most of them will be realized in the next year. Some of them we will see now with the demos. And I would like to invite Zukun to take his moderated chair and to start the demonstration of the teams. There will be 4 teams currently, according to my information, that will present the Federation simulation execution. Okay, please, Zukun. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikolay. So before we start the Federation execution, I want to take this opportunity to thank all the students for all their hard work this year. They have overcome all the challenges to come to this point. I'm very proud of what they have achieved. I want to thank Chen Patel, who has done a fantastic job helping the students. I also want to thank all the chairs and advisors for their inspiring speech. The Smackdown event has inspired me to pursue a career in modeling and simulation, and I am very honored to come back and be part of the SEE Smackdown again. I'm wearing the T-shirt that's from the very first Smackdown event. It says Smackdown 2011 and comes from an idea. I have learned so much from this event since the very beginning, 10 years ago. And I'm sure I will learn much, much more by helping the future generation of SEE Smackdown participants. So without further saying, let's go ahead and start the Federation execution. First, I would like to ask UCF team to run the 3 main federates. And then I'll ask each team to join their federates. And after that, we will have each team to talk about all the fantastic work they have done this year. Okay, please go ahead, UCF team.
Okay, I will restart the federates and let you know when it's back up.
And could you please screen share the pitch GUI?
Yeah. Do you want me to screen share myself setting it up, or just screen share it after I have it set up?
I can screen share while you're doing the server, Freddie, if you want.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Thanks, Jessica. And to the other teams, I see that there's still a few federates connected to the central server. Could you guys disconnect those for me, please? Oh, looks like y'all did. Thank you. Okay. If you look at your screens, you'll see that all three of the federates are running right now. And as people join, there will be new rows updated to that table. So everyone's feel free to join. Oh, looks like we already have some people.
So, Freddie, can you give us a little bit of color commentary or play-by-play on who's joining in and what they're doing?
Yeah, sure. It looks like Genoa is connecting some of their federates right now, and you can tell that that is the case because they had like 2 or 3 federates throughout the practice sessions we've had, and right now they only have 1 up. Munich seems to have everything set up. Again, they're going to have an ice object and a space station that interacts with that ice object. Jessica, do you want to run the tomato federates as everyone else puts their things in? We have Fastens joining right now as well, and Jessica's going to run our 2 federates on her local computer and connect them to the central server as well. So as we do all of that, I guess I can go to the same screen that Jessica was just showing. But yeah, it was a pretty good experience. It was nice to have everything set up, and as soon as we got the servers and the VPN all figured out, it's been actually a pretty smooth transition to developing everything, which has been really nice. Thank you everyone at home for watching also. It's nice to have remote support for things like this.
Hey, Freddie, is it okay if I ask a couple of questions?
Yeah, please do. I have nothing else to commentate about right now.
Okay, great. Yeah, so this is just kind of open to anybody who is knowledgeable about the particular federates. So I see that we've got now, what does it look like? About 10 federates that have joined into the system. So we've got. So I said the tomato is the one from UCF. I see the space station arm from Munich. Can you say a little bit about the space station arm simulation that you've got? Is there anybody from Munich that can talk that?
Yes, of course.
Zach, sorry. Hello, Zach. Sorry to interrupt. So once the federation is running, each team will talk about their federates.
Oh, okay, great. No problem. Then I can wait.
Yeah, thanks.
So it looks like the harvester and the tomato are both connected to the central server. Fasten seems to have their 3 objects in here. Is anyone still waiting to connect something to the Federation? It sounds like everyone has connected to the Federation. So from this point forward, now that everyone's connected to the server, like I said before, each one of us, or just one person, can open up their Dawn application and access the server's visual data through that platform. So I guess we're ready, Zuquan, if we'd like to move forward with all that.
Okay. Thanks, Freddie. Could you confirm that the time is advancing on
sure.
on pitch GUI?
Yeah, I'll just check though. I won't show it unless you need me to. Yeah, everyone is at the same timetable. It's all together as well.
Good job, everyone. So now we'll have each team to talk about their work. We'll start with UCF team. So Freddie, please feel free to take it away.
Okay. I will be opening up Dawn and then I'll share my screen. Okay, everyone should be able to see my screen right now. Can anyone see it? Okay. Yes. So this is the Dawn application. Like I've said before, it lets you see simulations. Right now, this is the C2020 event that we currently have linked up to the application. I've already built these objects, and I'm going to connect through a network simulation rather than a local simulation. This is the VPN address that we have assigned to the central server, and this is a port number, and that port number is actually where the visual data, also known as telemetry data, is being communicated between the server and my computer. So now we'll just go and create enter the simulation. And the first thing we have here, I guess I'll, if it's okay with you guys, I'll just do like a run through of like some of the main objects that people might want to see in Dawn.
I still see the start mission, settings, about, and quit view. Does anyone else? Or is that just my lack of signal? Never mind. Okay.
If it's updating correctly, everyone should be able to see the Earth right now. I'm not sure if that's the case though or not.
Okay, I still see the welcome screen, but that's just my connection then. Disregard.
I'm seeing the Earth.
You don't see the Earth?
I do see the Earth.
Okay. Okay, so then I'll assume everyone can see it on the stream. So a few things that we have, as mentioned before, the Earth is here in the simulation. Atkins Basin is part of the lunar base. And here is a list of all the objects inside of the simulation. This actually represents the same data that you would be seeing on the previous menu where people were joining and their federates were being displayed. As a side note, when I say federate, I mean an object inside of the simulation. For instance, the harvester is a federate and the tomato as well. So I'll start. Honestly, I've been delaying it for a while because I think our harvester and our tomato are far from completely finished, but thankfully they're at least in the server. So without further ado, here is our harvester robot. It is not near a tomato right now. I'm a little surprised about that. But ideally in the future, when the tomato is ripe, it will send a Boolean signal to our harvester, and the joints on the robot will actually move and twist around to reach that tomato and then pick it up. And then that tomato ideally will disappear and maybe a new one will be replanted. Not sure where our tomato went, so let's go and find it. Okay, here it is in space. It actually looks quite, hopefully that doesn't get in the way of the space station from Munich. That's actually really surprising to see like that. I may have not pulled the latest version if we made any changes, so I'm sorry about that for a presentation perspective. But this is the tomato floating in space, and this is the harvester. We were able to get the time advancing to a ripe position finished, but due to a lot of unforeseen events with our entire team, we were not able to develop our federates much further than this at the time. And because of that, this is actually the majority of what I have to show as the UCF presenter. So thank you. Are there any questions?
This is Mike. I can share that I have seen 15 demos, and this is the first time the tomato has shown up in orbit.
Yeah, it must have been like a get. I must have not pulled the most recent changes that maybe Jessica has made. So again, that may have been my bad.
I'm betting it's because Zach is here.
Yeah, Johnson's.
I do what I can.
Boo. Okay, I'm going to stop showing my screen and I'll turn my mic off now. Thank you everyone for listening to me.
Thank you. That's an excellent job. Next, we have Genoa. Yes, Genoa team.
Yes, one moment. Our simulation is not so stable, so I will share a link to YouTube where you can see the video. One moment. Okay, I pasted in the group chat the link to watch our video. So please open it, and I will comment our simulation on this video. So if you open it, you can see that at the beginning we can see the interceptor and the lunar base in Aitken Basin. Then we are looking for the asteroid and waiting for incoming threat. At some point we will see that interceptor will disappear, which means that it started. At this point we are going towards the asteroid and can see some metadata of the interceptor. And at the end we hit the asteroid. Here you can see some satellites. And once we hit the asteroid, it's basically considered destroyed, but can be deviated based on type of asteroid. So unfortunately, I can't share video in VSEE due to the fact that it's not so good in video share. But if you go on YouTube, you can see the video of our launch and successful interception. Unfortunately, that's pretty much it. Okay, if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. I'm looking at the videos now. I see the missile is on its way to the asteroid. That's very cool.
Thank you.
Thanks. Fantastic job. Let's give everyone another minute so they can finish the video if they are still watching it. And then we'll go to Fasten's team.
Thais, Sebastian.
Hi, Zukwan. Sorry, I was having some issues with my Dawn.
No problem.
I'm going to share my Dawn screen. Can you guys see it?
Yes. We see the
yes,
launching pad.
I can see it.
Yeah, and the shuttle.
Okay. So, as you guys can see it, for this pub is moving, and to do this, a code for the space probe was developed so that it moves to explore areas and gather information and be able to send information to the rover with the best route to look for raw materials. I'm going to bring back it's a little slow, but it's moving. So there it is. And for our rocket, for the space rocket, another code was made to simulate its launch and their interaction with the Munich team. So I'm going to move it up. So when the space station from Munich team sent the information that is ready to fuel the rocket, it changed hit its reference, and go to the space station to refuel. I'm going to show you manually. And there it goes. And it's going back to the launching pad. So this was our models from Hustings team. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Thank you, guys. That's very cool. Okay, next we have Munich team.
Yes, we are here. I'm just going to share my screen. Can you guys see my screen? So you should be able to see the space station.
Yes. I see it.
Perfect. So at first I want to just fly around and show you the space station. So here is the space station arm, which is going to catch the ice orbiter. We will see it in a few minutes. Then we have the tags that I just showed you on the presentation already. And there's just one other detail I want to show to you. Just let me find it. It's over here. And here is just a little place for the astronauts to see the stars and have a look out at the space. Okay. So if everybody can just see my screen still, I'm going to launch the Federation. So can you guys see the space station arm? Can anybody see anything?
I see the space station, but okay, now I see the arm.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to I'm going to show you the simulation, and afterwards I'm going to send you the YouTube video where you can see it if you don't have enough bandwidth to see the simulation. Is that all right? So I'm going to launch the ice orbiter, and because it will take too long, I'm going to accelerate the time step, and we should see it just in a few seconds. So if the ice is in reach of the space station, the space station arm does some calculations, which concludes the angles in which the ECB has to move. So we can see it on the screen that the space station arm with the current brake has moved to get in position to catch the ice capsule. The ice capsule just came in and is going to be decelerated in the current brake, and then it's going to move into the space station. So the ice, we have some troubles with the ice staying inside the current brake. That's just an error which does sometimes occur and sometimes doesn't. And then the ice is going into the space station, and after a few seconds, the flag phase is going to change. And then we are going to see the space rocket appear over here. As you can see, we just have some scaling issues, but yes, the interaction does work. Yes. So I'm going to send you the YouTube file. Just give me a second. Okay, Super already sent you the video. In the video, you can see the simulation of the space station arm, but unfortunately, you can't see the interaction with faces. So I can play it again if you want to see it. Otherwise, we can.
Yes, please.
Okay.
We want to see.
Okay. So I'm gonna I'm going to share my whole screen, so you can see also the federates which we created with the graphical interface. So I'm going to share my desktop. Can you guys see my desktop?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we have the space station federate with which attaches everything to each other. Then we have the space station arm, which consists of 4 moving parts. So the attachment part, the eddy current brake, the second arm, and the first arm. Then we have the ice federate, which moves all objects, because all objects are linked to the ice federate and are dependent on the ice position. And we have the fueling system federate. So if I'm going to launch the ice federate, you can see these coordinates. These are the coordinates for from the launching side of the moon in accordance to, or in relation to, the space station. And here at this side we can accelerate the time step. So if I'm going to, so right now I'm going to set 200,000 seconds, which will conclude that the ice will move much faster. And then we are in range of the arm, which calculates its catching position. And it moves again. I'm just going to orient the space station so you can see the rocket faces up here, and it's ready. So the ice orbiter just came in. Then, yes. So right now there's an issue which doesn't update the space station arm. I'm really sorry, I just going to launch it again. So there are some issues, but it's working. Yeah.
Awesome job, Jacob, and all of Munich.
So once again, the space station has calculated the catching position. The ice is coming in. The positions are updated, and the ice is going to get ejected into the space station. And after a few seconds, which is virtually the time to convert the ice into hydrogen, the flag status is going to change, and the space rocket from Phases that is a little bit larger than our space station arrives. So that's everything from our side. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. That's excellent job. It's very cool. So let's give all the students a big applause for all the excellent work they have done this year.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Very nicely done.
Very good.
Exceptional work, everyone.
So now I would like to give the floor back to Nikolay.
Thank you. Thank you, Zukun. Thank you everybody for all these great works. Each year, all these works becoming more and more competitive. I'm sure that you now compete with the real engineers, simulation engineers from NASA and ESA, believe me. Hopefully it will be the future also. So I think that we are at the final minutes of closing the final event SIE 2020. And hopefully it was a real show and enjoyable for all of us. Let's say that it's a real pleasure for me meeting with you even remotely. Some of you I already know physically, but working with people like you, like experts like you, is a real pleasure, and I feel satisfied when I see that you contribute to us and we can contribute to you. So this is a mutual cooperation. The future is coming. Hopefully we will see each other in Brazil next year. And I would like to say if there are some comments from your side now before closing the event. If somebody wants to tell something and he hasn't the ability to say it now, please open your speaker, unmute your camera and just say it.
This is Mike. I've got something I'd like to go share with everybody. This year has been, I don't want to say exceptional or outstanding, but this year has been different than anything that we have had to go work with before or seen before or anything at all. The teams did an absolutely fantastic job. Everybody, just given what was going on alongside us, everyone did an absolutely outstanding job. I'm looking very forward to 2021 in Brazil, and to be able to go that way. I also want to kind of share something that I truly believe is very important to me. Simon and I spent a great deal of time before we started up for this year talking about getting the best possible people involved in the best possible ways to come and go carry things forward. My job ended up being, recruiting a couple of folks. And I want to say that probably the best thing I have done in the past year has been to recruit both Nikolay and Zuquan into the roles of what they did and what they're doing right now. It's absolutely fantastic job, absolutely incredible work, well beyond, I think, anything that I know I could have done. The work that the two of them have done from the operations side and from the technical side is just type of thing that makes your heart and your soul happy. So these two guys have done an absolutely fantastic job. If you think if anybody in this call believes there was an orderly transition where it provided these two gentlemen additional knowledge and guidebooks and things like that to go get done, that is not the case. What you see is what Zuquan and Nikolay collected here, and I want to give them a round of applause for both of them for the work that they did. To make this what it is today. This absolutely fantastic journey. That's it.
Well, thank you, Mike. Feel a little bit correct now. You see my face? Okay. So anybody to say something?
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to speak
yes,
few words. I would like to thank you for another year of great working together. This project is very important for us, and we are extremely proud to be part of it. This year, unfortunately, it's not possible to make the closing as planned here in Brazil. We are very sad with this situation, but hopefully next year we will be able to get together in person and do even a bigger part to conclude the next year project. I hope.
Yeah, wonderful. Yes.
Jeff, because we want all to be there in Brazil next year. Would you like to show something to attract us for the next year. So just to have a dream in our mind. Or you would prefer I to share the video that you provided with your friends
you can share. Yeah, you can share. And this is just like something, just a little bit, but if everything goes well, and we hope it will go very well, you guys are going to have a blast next year in Brazil. And hopefully we can start planning for 2022 as well. We might go to Italy because I think that will be an amazing place to go in 2022. So again, we can start planning for 2021 and 2022.
Super, great. So I just need a second to show what Facen's team together with you provided me, especially Andrea, just to find it out, because it's really attractive. I want to be there now, believe me, together with you. Okay.
I guess I just want to say like one last thing as well. I think it's been awesome working with a huge international team like this, and like the development process with everybody being able to speak once a week and work collaboratively has honestly been awesome. This is kind of like how I'd like the rest of my career to go as far as like virtual office spaces and things. So thanks for giving me an opportunity to get better at that kind of workflow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mike or Zukun, may I ask you, I'll send you in the chat message the video, because as the streaming is controlled by my computer. Okay, here it is. Please open your screen and share it. Thanks.
Okay, let me see if I can.
I got a Zook on.
Okay, let me unshare mine.
I didn't realize you shared it. Sorry.
No problem.
And I don't hear audio coming out of it, so we may have somehow lost the audio that's coming out of it.
Yes. Okay, but yeah, everybody has the link and they can hear this.
Brazil is prettier than this too. I was able to go talk to some students there and some groups there last year, and this video you're looking at does not do it justice. What I would ask is, and it's because I can't find it right now, if Andrea would share the link to the Facen's YouTube video, so everybody can go listen to that and go see that and get a feel for what their campus looks like, kind of a teaser as to where we want to be next year.
Yes, these are exactly teasers for everybody. Okay, thanks a lot for this. So, and finally, I mean for this event, I would like to say something that without your dedicated work, dear students and faculty advisors, Simulation Exploration Experience Initiative would be nothing. So I believe we will continue growing our community and do our best. Thank you very much. Take a glass of beer, whiskey, or everything you want. Just cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone for being a part of this.
See you very soon. In a few months we start the preparation with the next event. Waiting to see you again here. Keep safe. Keep your people around safe also. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Bye guys. Bye everybody. Bye. See you in Brazil next year. Thank you.
Bye. Best of
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Hey, awesome job, Nikolay. Awesome job, Zupan. Absolutely fantastic work. Awesome job planning for us, Andrea. We'll see you all next year. Just phenomenal stuff everywhere. Just absolutely phenomenal. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and everyone, please stay safe.
Stay safe. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Bye-bye.